In life, there's these moments. And in those moments, you got to give it all you got. You got to take your best shot. The time is now. So what are you waiting for? It's time to attack the impossible. So what will you do with the moments that you have left?
Great American Rugby. Rugby is life and life is great. I'm excited to share an opportunity to partner with Great American Rugby and help grow rugby in the U.S. Sponsoring Great American Rugby gives your brand exposure to a passionate rugby community, whether through logo placements, social media promotions, product giveaways, or brand collaborations. We can find the right fit for you. Here at Great American Rugby, we know that all businesses are different, so we're open to negotiating sponsorship budgets or alternative compensation that works for both of us. If you're interested, please fill out the sponsorship interest form. It'll only take a few minutes, and I'll personally reach out to discuss the next steps. Let's build something that benefits your brand while growing rugby. Thank you for your support. Let's grow rugby together. Rugby is life and life is great. Be great.
How y'all doing? My name is RC. I'm the CEO of a clothing line by the name of Wag Die. Wag Die stands for We're All Gonna Die One Day. So live life to the fullest. It's an anti-depression brand I started because in my earlier teenage years, I was gonna kill myself. So I wanted to start a group of people I wish existed when I needed them. So Wag Die has a lot of different components. Do a lot of different things. Everything from clothing, obviously that was our first one, gaming, community service. We participate in a lot of events, and we just go out and every day, honestly, we just meet as many people as we can and try to change their viewpoint on life from negative to positive. One of the most common misconceptions that I always receive about the brand lies directly within the name. What I want you to understand was that at that point in time when I originally created this slogan, I was going through such a crazy mental episode that I really came to terms with the fact that we're all going to die. And what I wanted people to receive from this message was that, yeah, we're all going to die one day, but live life to the fullest, because as far as we know in this life and existence, we only have one turn, one try to get this right. So live it and live it to the fullest.
You know you want me, baby. You know I want you too. Cause I'm your honey, man. I'm really sweet on you. Take one taste of me, girl, and I will rule your world. I wanna grow together. Let's let our love unfurl. Beneath the pale moonlight, where we're dancing slow, I hear whispers of love. Your eyes, they sparkle like stars in the sky. In this moment with you, time just seems to pass by. In the quiet of the night, in a world so still, our hearts beat as one. In this love we fulfill. You know you want me, baby. You know I want you too. Cause I'm your honey, man. I'm really sweet on you. Take one taste of me, girl, and I will rule your world. I wanna grow together. Let's let our love unfurl. You know you want me, baby. You know I want you too. Cause I'm your honey, man. I'm really sweet on you. Take one taste of me, girl, and I will rule your world. I wanna grow together. Let's let our love unfurl. With every beat of my heart, I'm drawing closer to you. And through the seasons of time, can't wait to start with you. You know you want me, baby. You know I want you to. Cause I'm your honey, man. I'm really sweet on you. Take one taste of me, girl, and I will rule your world. I wanna grow together. Let's let our love unfurl. You know you want me, baby. You know I want you to. Cause I'm your honey, man. I'm really sweet on you. Take one taste of me, girl, and I will rule your world. I wanna grow together. Let's let our love unfurl. You know you want me, baby. You know I want you to. Cause I'm your honey, man. I'm really sweet on you. Take one taste of me, girl, and I will rule your world. I wanna grow together. Let's let our love unfurl.
Hold on. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to another episode of That's All I'm Saying. It's your boy Max Dollars, your neighborhood hoop hero, baby. And this is another exciting episode 12 of today's show. First off, before we start, we want to give a special shout out to our sponsors, Stillwear Athletic Brand, the Great American Rugby, and Wag Dog, and also our number one honey man, Abasi Steele, the one and only. Now, today's episode, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be a special one. I'm going to answer a couple of questions that have been coming to me in the comments of a couple of my posts. We're going to acknowledge the fact that the Pacers might end up winning the NBA championship this year. Let's not honeycoat this, okay? The Pacers might end up winning the NBA championship this year, and it's not this is no guess, it's no estimation. This is what it is. They're actually doing the greatest thing ever. They build your confidence up, and then they slowly take it away. They slowly break your confidence, and they slowly break your will. That's what they did with Cleveland. Slowly broke their will. Slowly. They'll let you get up, and then they'll take you down just a little bit. Shout out to Tyrese Halliburton, up-and-coming star. I foresee him being an MVP soon. I foresee him being top guard in the NBA. One of the faces here, him and Ant Edwards. Ant is having a hard time going against Shea. I understand Shea is the most complete player in the NBA right now, and he's showing it. He's definitely showing it. We're going to see what happens tonight with the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Oklahoma City Thunder. But needless to say, congratulations to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for getting the NBA's MVP this year. Congratulations, my boy. Go ahead and give a shout out to that. That's not an easy thing. That is not an easy thing. Being the MVP in the NBA, that means you're the best player in the NBA in the world at this very moment, which is crazy. Congratulations, Shai. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to dive deep into this Shai Gilgeous-Alexander MVP, and we're going to compare him to the GOATs, okay? Let's go ahead and compare them. Because the great thing about this is that we have numbers to compare to. Now, Shai's stats this year are amazing. His stats this year are amazing. He's averaging 32.7 points in the NBA, okay? Field goal percentage is 51.9%. Averaging 6 assists, 5 rebounds, and 1 steal. Total steals and blocks this year is 208. He's third in the NBA. Team record, 68-14. Also the best in the league and in the franchise, and it's a franchise record for them. Even when they had KD, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden, he still was able to get a franchise record in wins, which is great. Congratulations, it's well deserved. Now, he got 71 votes out of 100 MVP votes. Okay, 71 out of 100 sounds like a lot, but it's actually not that much. The wealth was spread out this year. Now let's go ahead and compare these two. Okay, we're gonna compare Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's MVP year to LeBron James' 2012 MVP year. LeBron James went 66 and 16. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander went 68 and 14, right? Both of them first in the NBA. Shea averaged 32.7 points. LeBron averaged 26.8. There's a difference. Shea averaged about 6 more points, which is amazing. 5 rebounds for Shea, 8 rebounds for LeBron. 6, hold on, let me see that. What is this? No, I'm sorry. 5 assists. No, 5 rebounds for Shea, 8 rebounds for LeBron, 6 assists for Shea, 7.3 assists for LeBron. Okay, let's go over that again. Shea averaged 32 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. LeBron averaged 26.8 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists. Shea shot 51.9% from the field. LeBron shot 56.5%. That means he didn't miss. Every other shot he made. What is that? And out of the MVP votes, LeBron got 120 out of 121 place votes. That's what you call dominance. LeBron was dominant on both sides of the coin, offense and defense. Probably should have got Defensive Player of the Year, but you know how they do. Okay, now let's compare Shea's MVP year to Michael Jordan's MVP year. Both ages, Shea was 26. He's 26 now. Michael Jordan was 24 when he got this MVP. Okay. Shea was 68 and 14 in the NBA. Again, first in the NBA. Michael Jordan was 50 and 32. They were third in the East. Okay. Shea averaged 32.7 points in the NBA. Jordan averaged 35. Shea averaged 6.4 rebounds. Michael averaged 5.9 rebounds. Shea averaged 5 assists. Michael Jordan averaged 5.5 assists. Steals. Let me make sure I say this correctly. Steals. Shea has 1.7 steals. Michael Jordan had 3.2 steals per game. That's crazy. And efficiency. Shea was 51.9%. Jordan was 53.5%. This is the year he got MVP and Defensive Player of the Year. Come on, people. The only thing that really stands out is the 3.2 steals per game. And a lot of people have been going in the archives and paying attention to all his stats. And those steals ain't 100% true. I'm not hating. I'm just stating the facts. Okay? They've already debunked this. The steals on this stat ain't true. So if you look at it, he's third in the East. And the team is third in the East with 50 wins. Shea is first in the East or in the West with 68 wins. He averaged 35 points. It's amazing. But everything else is normal. 5 rebounds, 5 assists. 3 steals. 1 rebound. Oh, no. 5 rebounds. Okay? Now, the times were different. He got MVP and Defensive Player of the Year. That lets you know times were very different back then. Everybody in the comments talking about how Michael Jordan got Defensive Player of the Year and MVP. But when you compare it to nowadays age of players and performances, it's basic. It's basic. The only thing he was elite at was scoring. And that's why I keep telling y'all, if you take away everything else that Michael Jordan had, he's just a great scorer. He's a J.R. Smith. That's it. And everybody's talking about, did J.R. Smith average 35? No. Did J.R. Smith get Defensive Player of the Year? No. Did J.R. Smith get MVP? No. But one thing J.R. Smith did not get, it was the opportunity to be the man on the team. He never had the franchise back him 100% and say, we trust you with the team and we're going to follow your lead. That's what they did with Michael Jordan. They trusted him. They followed his lead. He was able to do what he needed to do to become successful. given the fact that J.R. Smith got the same opportunity, he probably would have surpassed that. J.R. Smith is a bucket, 100%. If you compare the two, I guarantee you his athleticism was better, his jump shot was better, his handles was better, his court awareness was better. The only difference between J.R. and Michael Jordan is J.R. came from high school, did not have a lot of tutoring, didn't go through the structure like Michael Jordan did with Dean Smith and Phil Jackson. He came straight to the league and went to Melo and George Karl. That's the difference. It's your structure, it's your pathway. I guarantee you, if J.R. Smith would have went to North Carolina like he was supposed to, he probably would have turned out a different player. But when you're an elite athlete like this, you don't have to go through the hoops. You go straight to the league. Sounds familiar. Sounds like LeBron James. All I'm saying. Elite players don't have to go to college. You go straight to the big show. Straight to the dance. Okay? I just compared Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's MVP year to Michael Jordan's MVP year when he got the Defensive Player of the Year. There's no difference. Shai averaged 3 points less. The only difference was the steals. And everybody's going through the archives seeing that the steals aren't really true. They're not. So how can you put that as a stamp of approval when this year's MVP basically did the same thing as Michael Jordan did back in 88? It's the same thing. Jordan was a regular player. He just got hype. That's it. And I'm not taking nothing away. Don't get me wrong. I am a Jordan fan. I am. But all these people in my comments are trying to disrespect, saying that I've never watched Jordan. I didn't see him come. You can't comment on something that you didn't see. No, I did watch Jordan. I saw him play. Okay? He's amazing. He was amazing. He still is amazing. Okay? But compared to new age players, he's a regular player. He's a regular player. Everybody's talking about if Jordan played in today's age, he would average 35. I doubt it. Okay? The rules are different. His skill set isn't as elite to compare to everybody else's anymore. He would fit in the crowd like a sore thumb. That's it. He would be right there, just like everybody else. He would be a J.R. Smith. He would be a, who else did they say? A Jamal Crawford. A straight bucket getter. That's it. No disrespect. But he would not stand out like you think he would. We just compare the two stats of two MVPs this year and 88. Come on, bro. Come on. Now, the great thing about Michael Jordan at this point in time is that he's actually about to become a sportscaster. This is going to be interesting because he's going to say a lot of things that we already know are true. He's going to say a lot of things to debunk the myth. He's going to say a lot of things that is going to make his fans upset. One thing he's already said that made his fans and will make his fans upset is that he said his fans are ruining the game of basketball. They're ruining the game because they won't let it go. They won't acknowledge the fact that there are other great players out here doing great things. Everybody wants to compare Michael Jordan to everybody else. He did his thing. It's over. It's over. Okay? We can move on, people. We can buy his shoes and we can live on. The legacy's not going to die. But the GOAT debate moves on. Because what he did is stamped. It's cemented. It's cemented. 3 for 3. 6-0. It's a beautiful thing. But if you think about this, people, if you think about this, without the system, Michael Jordan was not winning any games. And everybody says he made the system. He made the team work because he was that great. I agree, he was great. But if you take the system away, he's still great. He just doesn't win. Why? Because he's a system player. He needed a specific system for him to win. Why am I saying this? Because you take the same system and you put it in LA and Kobe and Shaq wins. You take the system away, Kobe doesn't win. You take that same system and you put it in Golden State and Steph wins. It's the same thing. The system is the GOAT. Phil Jackson's system is the GOAT. It's not Jordan. It's not. This is why LeBron is so great. He is the system. Anywhere he goes, he does what he does and he wins. Everybody talks in my comments, LeBron lost for 18 years. Why he hasn't got 6 rings like Jordan? He hasn't got 5. He does this. All he does is lose and flop and la la la. Listen, people. He goes to different franchises with different players and wins. Name one other player that does that and is the man. Don't name Robert Horry. He was never the man. He barely started for LA and he barely started for the Spurs. In Houston, when he was a rookie, he was great. But come on, man. Kawhi Leonard, no. Kawhi, no. He doesn't even last. And there's no disrespect to none of these players. But they're not lasting like that. They might follow the footsteps, but they cannot finish the journey. This is why LeBron is the GOAT. Because he set a foundation. He set a pathway. Nobody can follow this pathway. Jordan set a pathway. And you can follow it. All you need is the system. I guarantee you, if Phil Jackson came out of retirement and he went to Oklahoma City Thunder and implemented the triangle offense, they would start winning because they have a player that's similar to Jordan and Kobe named Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They would run the tables because the triangle offense is that great. All you need is one dominant player, such as Shai, and a lot of role players that are very good. And if you look at their team now, they are set up to win if they had a structure that is unbeatable. This is why Phil Jackson is the true GOAT of the NBA. Not Jordan, not Stan Van Gundy, not Pat Riley, Phil Jackson. Okay? He has set a blueprint that is proven more than anybody. Made 2 players great, and we still talk about them today. He coached 2 of the top players in NBA history. Greatness. Phil Jackson. Now, let's ask this question here. Why don't we hold Steph Curry accountable like we hold LeBron James accountable? Why is that when Steph loses, it's okay? Why is it that when Steph doesn't perform as he should, it's all right? They give him a pass. They give him excuses. Why? I don't know. But anytime LeBron loses, oh, he's not a GOAT. He's not great. He lost to Anthony Edwards in the first round. So what? Steph lost in the second round. Yes, he was hurt. We all know this. But he still lost. A loss is a loss. At the end of the day, when you look at our archives, it's going to say he lost. It's not going to say why he lost. It's going to say he lost. Just like you look at LeBron's archives, for 22 years, for 18 years, you say he lost. Okay, there's reasons on why. But if we give the reasons, they're excuses. Okay? Because you can compare the two. Steph was the first to get unanimous MVP, right? Yeah, he was. LeBron James should have got unanimous MVP, the year before? But the guy who didn't vote for him said that Carmelo Anthony was more valuable to his team than LeBron James was. Are you serious? There's always something that can poke a hole in anybody's story. Now, Steph, if he's really the GOAT, should be accountable for everything that's going on. At this moment, they try to make him saying that this is Steph's era. It's not possible. It's not possible. Did he impact the game more than LeBron? No. He actually just shot the ball great. That's it. But it's replicatable. You can do this over and over again. All you got to do is practice your shot. You can't practice what LeBron did. You can't. It's impossible. LeBron is the greatest player of all time because he didn't need a structure. He didn't need a coach. All he needed was him. and a couple friends, and he ran the table. Nobody else can do this. Greatness travels, people. Greatness travels. Okay? GOAT characteristics. Okay? 1, being able to relocate and replicate the same thing over and over again. If you can recreate yourself, that means you know who you are. You are who you think you are. If you can't reduplicate yourself, then you're a one-trick pony, people. You're a one-trick pony and you're kicking. That's it. GOATs travel. Greatness travels. It can be reduplicated over and over and over again. Not in the same situation, but in different places. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a call. Let's see who this is.
Call from
Patrick.
Hello, caller. You on? That's all I'm saying.
Yo, dog, what up?
Yes, sir. What's up, bro? How you doing?
Chilling, watching the game.
Hey, man, I appreciate you giving the call. Who's winning right now?
I believe OKC is up right now, about to be halftime soon. They're up 3, I think, right now.
Okay. What you think on the game? You think OKC is gonna think they're gonna sweep them?
I think it's going to be overall 5 games. I'm giving them 5 games. I think everybody thinks Minnesota's better than what they actually are.
Yeah, it's starting to see that. Oklahoma City's a team. You know, they've been together.
Absolutely.
They've been together for a minute.
Absolutely. But actually, I was calling to talk about Cleveland.
Okay.
To talk about Cleveland. Everybody the whole entire year was expecting Cleveland to make it to the finals. I was calling it from last year. I've been saying that Cleveland's been garbage. They've been trash because they have no dogs, especially coming into this year. I know they added the addition of Hunter.
Right.
But even with the addition of Hunter and trading away Niang, people thought, like, statistically, roster-wise, you look at their team, they clean up and down in the East all day.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about the playoffs, getting all the way to the mountaintop, the finals, if you have no dogs, they don't have one dog on that team. That's why OKC, top to bottom, they're way better because they have 2-3 dogs on that team. You can't win without dogs.
That's a fact.
Not possible.
That's a fact. Donovan Mitchell, he's a great player, but he's a complimentary guard. He's not the main star. They want him to be.
I'm not gonna front. I'm gonna disagree with half of that. I'm gonna say that Donovan Mitchell is a star, and I'll even say that he's the closest thing to Cleveland in terms of having a dog that they have. But the problem is, when you're a superstar, you don't have time in a game to be a dog and a superstar.
Yeah.
Ant-Man's trying to do that, but you can't do that. It's just not possible. The closest one to do that, honestly, Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, and we haven't seen anybody to do that both ends of the court. So he can't do that. He needs another player on the court. Niggas like Jerome, like look at your roster. Like you got niggas like Jerome that wants to score. You got niggas like friggin' what's his name, Garland, that was hurt. Granted, he was hurt, fair enough, but at the end of the day, he hasn't been good since Karis LeVert. The days with Karis LeVert with him on Cleveland before he got traded to Brooklyn. He hasn't been good ever since to me. So really, that team, I don't know why everybody thought they were good. Record-wise, people need to understand. We've seen so many teams in the league that's been good. Houston, list goes on, that they don't do anything once they touch the playoffs.
Right.
Case in point, exactly this year, Cleveland.
Well, I would also say that they don't have experience. The only person that has experience is Donovan Mitchell. And the experience that Donovan Mitchell has is not even getting past the second round or getting past the first, really. You know what I mean? Like, his experience is balling, but to win, he doesn't have the knowledge or the capability to get to that point because it's all strategy. It's mental at this point, you know?
100%. I 100% agree with that. He's lacking experience. And also, again, touching on their roster, Jared Allen, their center, he's been comfortable on that team a little bit too long. I think he needs to leave because they've made that team, his position on that team, a little bit too comfortable. He doesn't have to do much because on Cleveland, he had much more of an impact. Now that he's on the roster like this, besides Mobley / Bambi, I
Yeah.
call him Bambi. You see his knees knocking. So when you're with a player like Bambi that's flipping featured this year, because last year that's why they lost, because he has no heart. So this year they want to feature him more. That's why his points went up this year. But when you put him in the playoffs again,
Nothing.
with this roster, Allen has nothing to do. Look at his numbers this year. He barely did anything
You're right. You
in terms of his stats.
You're right. You're right.
And he should be much better. You know, if you gave Allen to literally any other player, any other team, halfway there, he's going to bring him to the playoffs, second, third round every time. You put Allen on any other team.
Facts. I think Allen is good, but you might be right. I think he might be comfortable.
Comfortable.
He might be too comfortable.
Allen is you trying to tell me Allen's not better than Gobert? You trying to tell me he's not better than Gobert? Really?
I mean, okay. Statistic wise, or I test. I would take Allen.
He's better than Gobert, 100%.
He's better than Gobert, 100%. 100%. Only difference between them two, I think Gobert is, let's say, I would say he's feared more because of the 7-foot presence, and he does, hinder. But I don't know that's true either.
No, but you have to understand that Gobert has no hands. Gobert has absolutely no hands.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about the eye test, it's hands down Allen. Gobert has no hands whatsoever. So his 4 Defensive Players of the Year awards is all fraudulent. Every single one. Every single one.
I agree. I 100% agree. That's why him and Donovan Mitchell wasn't getting along, because every time he passed him the ball, he fumbled it. He messing up my stats.
Exactly. He's a taller Carlos Boozer. When Carlos Boozer was playing with D Rose in Chicago, the worst hands on the planet. Couldn't catch nothing, B. His hands was water.
Only thing he can do is rebound.
Pathetic.
No, you're right though. You're right. So would you would switch Rudy Gobert and Allen? You would trade them?
Oh, 100%. Give Allen in Minnesota. Oh, they're doing something. Because they've been playing 4-on-5 for the past 2-3 years with Allen.
Yeah.
With Gobert.
Yeah.
4-on-5. And you know this, especially in the playoffs. He does absolutely. Last game, 2 points and 3 rebounds, starting center.
Yeah.
30 minutes a game. Come on, bro.
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
He's
directly the reason why they lost last year.
No, facts. He's not a dog. We all know this. We all know that Rudy Gobert is not a dog. For him to get the 4 Defensive Player of the Year awards, again, it's fraudulent. It's fake. They gave it to him for who else were they gonna give it to? Maybe LeBron, but they can't do that.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't say maybe LeBron. Stop it.
Who was second
Stop
place?
It.
Who was
There's
second?
no.
Out
Stop it. Don't.
Rudy Gobert. Look, I'm about to. I'm gonna check this out. Right. I'm gonna say who was second place when Rudy Gobert won the MVPs.
I don't know the list of last year when second place to Rudy Gobert. I would probably guess maybe Dort, another big man, maybe. Not even Hartenstein. Thing was good last year actually. Holmgren.
Yeah.
Holmgren was up there actually last year with him.
Oh, they ain't giving me the answer. So you're right though, because they Rudy. I mean, to give it to Rudy that many times was crazy. It was really crazy.
He doesn't have an impact. Look, Rudy Gobert gets rebounds because of his height.
Fact.
Driving in today's NBA, having a center in today's NBA to do anything is a cherry on top of your cake. And that's what Rudy Gobert has been doing. There's no big man that impacts the game defensively in the NBA anymore. And he's the only one. He's the last of the Mohicans at that. That's, to me, the reason why he's been getting this shit. Because really, if you're given 4 Defensive Players of the Year, and when it comes to the playoffs or throughout the year, you have no presence whatsoever on the – look, Ben Wallace got, I believe, 3 or 4 Defensive Players of the Year awards. And guess what? He was an impact on the offensive end as well. And his defensive impact impacted the game. It wasn't just rebounds and hit block shots or you're going up and he makes you adjust your shot. No.
But his team was also
He's
defensive
blocking your
minded.
Exactly, and he can guard 1 through 5.
That's facts.
Gobert is not guarding 1 through 5. We know this.
Nah, he gets embarrassed. That's why they don't do ISOs no more. He doesn't. I don't even think he shows on pick and rolls anymore because everybody was ISOing him when he was out there. Remember?
Exactly. If you got to tell me you're a defensive player, but your coach has to sub you out because of certain matchups, I don't know how that equals up to defensive player of the year. If you're defensive player of the year, you should be on the court in all scenarios, in every scenario. There's no scenario that you should be off the court defensively.
No, that's all facts. That's all facts. I don't believe. I this is what I think, and you tell me your opinion. I think that the NBA right now is just too easy for all players. Right, athleticism has already increased to the max. The shooting ability is crazy now. Everybody's a marksman for the most part. Everybody's shooting from deep. The game is just too easy because the skill level is high. What I suggest is that the NBA needs to give it a reboot, right? Give it a reboot by raising the rim to 11 feet. Now, hear me out.
You're wilding.
No, hear me out. Hear me out. Okay? The reason why you raise it to 11 feet is because it actually resets the game back to when it first started. Because when it first started, the rim at 10 feet was crazy. Nobody was really dunking like that, right? You had to like train to get up there. Like it was a challenge to jump that high for most people. So the game was more skill. It was more, team oriented. It wasn't athleticism. It was all skill. Pick and rolls, rebounds, playing together, right? Until the athleticism gained to a certain point to where it is now, where now it's just easy, If you raise the rim back to 11 feet, everybody going to be missing shots. More rebounds, so you're not going to be shooting as much. You're going to be passing the ball in to the big man, right? It's going to be inside out instead of outside in, just like how it used to be. Defense is going to be a lot more tougher because now I know you're not finna shoot, so I know you finna drive, so I'm about to play some good defense. Hand checking is going to come back. Everything's going to get reset.
I'm not going to lie to you, dog. I see where you're going with your point, but in my head, you telling me this 11 foot, all that's going to make the game is look ugly. Because we're talking about a game that's about, off of my head, about 70, 80 years old. And now we're talking about putting an extra foot higher, 11 foot, to adjust your shot, to adjust layups, to adjust how you're driving, how you look at No, you're just going to make the game ugly. You're going to make the game go from flipping whatever the point average is now, every team being 110 to about 60, 70. Ain't nobody trying to watch a game 65 to 54. It's going to turn into a WNBA game. No diss to women's basketball. I supported it wholeheartedly, but that's what it's going to turn into. All you need to do to fix today's game is get skilled big men. When you get skilled big men, that's going to reset NBA basketball. When you get skilled big men that actually know how to have footwork in the middle and they don't have to throw themselves out the 3-point line, that's what's going to bring back basketball overall. Because these kids today, they don't understand that basketball is supposed to be played, like you said, inside and out. That's true basketball at its purity.
Right.
Basketball is not supposed to be played once you cross half-court line. Now I'm going to shoot it between the half-court and the 3-point line. That's not basketball. I've always said that's phys ed. That's gym class to me. They've been playing gym class in the NBA for about 8 to 10 years now.
Facts.
You need to get away from that and get back to real basketball, which is coming up, pick and roll, motion offense. Whoever you pass to, you move the opposite direction and keep moving. They don't do that in basketball anymore.
They don't.
It's literally come down, 2 dribbles, and a 3-point.
100%. That's why I'm telling you, they need to raise the rim. Because if you raise the
No,
rim...
dog, get your raised rim out of here, B. That's not going to happen, dog. Let that go. Stop it, B. You need skilled big men like Dwight Howard in the league to guard a Jokic. Like you mentioned before, it's easy to score in today's game. When you don't have a skilled big man in 30 teams and you only have one skilled big man in 30 teams, that being Jokic, you'll get Jokic numbers.
Yeah.
You'll have your people saying, Jokic should have got 4 MVPs. He should have got this year. It shouldn't have been Shea. Look at his numbers. His numbers are better. Yeah, his numbers are better than Shea. But I'm pretty sure the executives at the top making these votes, they looked at Shea and they looked at Jokic and said, what's Jokic's competition?
Exactly.
No one.
Nobody.
But what's Shea's competition? Literally everyone else.
Everybody.
Literally, his style of play, he has to go against everyone. Jokic doesn't have to go against everyone. He probably has to go against literally one or two players, actually, Hartenstein and Holmgren, and they dealt with him. That's his only competition in the league, you know.
You're right.
Or you can even say Wembanyama. But, well, you already know where he's at. But, so he has no competition in the league.
You're right, because size-wise, he's dwarfing everybody. He's like 320. He's like a Shaq. He's today's Shaq with skill. Just straight dominance. You can't stop him.
No, I wouldn't go that far. Because he can't jump over a stack of paper still.
That is true.
He has the size. He doesn't have the athleticism. The thing that separates him from other big men, he actually has skill. Other big men don't have skill because coming into the league, they're already shooting threes. Or when they're in the league, the team they're on, they want them to stretch out and be a stretch big, which to me is stupid basketball. Why do you want your biggest man to be a stretch big? That doesn't make any sense. Who's going to be at the rim?
Exactly. That's why they got Caruso down there trying to stop Jokic. It's not possible.
And he did a great job.
He did. They got past him, but that's not what you want. That's not the matchup you want.
Exactly. You're right, though. That's not what you want to do. Exactly. That's what I'm talking about.
You're right. I agree with you. But the only way to stop that, outside of changing the rim, right, is the coaching. Like these kids coming up, they're not being trained like that. All the big boys are told to be on the perimeter. They're told to shoot these threes because that's the name of the game now. Shoot as much as possible because the percentage of you making it is going to be higher than the percentage of you missing. That's what they think.
Exactly. And that's why Coach Mazzulla for Boston Celtics should be named as the worst coach in the NBA in the past 2 years straight because he has not been coaching at all. He's just been telling his niggas, yo, go out there and chuck up threes. I've been calling it last year that they should not have won last year the ring. I thought they weren't going to, and they actually proved me wrong by winning the NBA championship by chucking up threes. But the same thing that made them win made them lose. And I'm happy as hell about it. Mazzulla was not coaching. And we clearly seen it in these playoffs. His ass got exposed.
That's facts. That is facts. They got exposed because everybody saw how they played last year and they adjusted. You know?
Exactly.
And last year, Porzingis wasn't even playing as much. So when he started to play, it was a cheat code because they weren't expecting him to be as good as he used to be. Because when you have a team full of great players and you're great, you can show out because all the attention is going to be on whoever else is hot. And if you're good as what you say you are, you're going to be able to stand out. Like Porzingis is a matchup problem for everybody. Only person that can really stop him matchup-wise is like Durant or what's the kid from OKC this year, the skinny one.
Holmgren.
You know, like
Holmgren.
Matchup-wise, right? Size-wise, like they're all unicorns. 7 foot, lengthy.
Nah.
No?
I'm not gonna lie. I push back on that. I disagree with everything. I believe it's been false about his career his whole time. His best time was in New York.
That's true.
Porzingis. I don't think he's that great of a player at all. You know why? He has absolutely no motor, and he doesn't know how to play basketball below the three-point line.
He doesn't.
He's proved that in his career. He cannot play basketball below the three-point line, and he has absolutely no engine and absolutely no motor. They did not need him last year on Boston whatsoever, and they proved it by winning the ring without him.
I mean, when he played last year, he was a force. He came in and No?
Go on.
I was just saying he came in and he was a mismatch problem. You couldn't stop him because, for one, you didn't know when he was going to play. So when he did play, your game plan wasn't set up for him to be there. So now you're trying to scramble and trying to match up against him, and he's already cooking. He's 7 foot with
it. But guess what, though?
Yeah.
But all right, I hear you. But guess what, though? He did that last year coming on a team that already had, I guess statistically wise and on the roster, they already had everything. So when you say you don't know when he's going to play during the season, and then it's a matchup nightmare for other teams, that's during the season. What happened in the playoffs? He got hurt, as expected. What happened this year? Boston struggled all throughout the year, especially at home. Their record was barely above 500 at home, and Porzingis was the healthiest he could have been in how many years in his career this year. And look at the outcome. And he played in the playoffs this year. And again, no engine. They have to restrict his minutes. He's not a unicorn. He's a fake Nowinski. He's a fake Durant. He's a fake 7-foot shooter guy. He does not know how to play basketball in the NBA past the 3-point line, and it's proven.
Yeah.
You know, what's his name? Thing didn't want to play with him in Dallas. They threw him away. What's his name? Jokic, not Jokic. What's his name? Doncic. Luka Doncic.
Yeah, Luka Doncic. Yeah.
If Doncic don't want to play with you and you call yourself the unicorn, get the fuck out of here, please. If Doncic don't want to play with a 7-foot unicorn, come on, what are we talking about?
No, you're right. You're right. There's a reason why he bounced to different teams. You know, because you would think at his size and his capability of what he was showed that he could do in New York, he would dominate. That's what everybody expected. But after the injuries,
bro, he should have one MVP right now.
I agree, at least one.
If you're trying to tell me Jokic can get 3 and possibly 4 MVPs, then Porzingis, this bootleg unicorn, should have 1. If you're talking about today's NBA players, they have so many skill and that, which is bullshit. He should have at least 1.
Facts. I agree. Everything you're saying is true.
And just to touch a little bit, my bad, go on.
No, I was saying everything you're saying is true. He should at least have 1, but that goes to the fact that he has no motor and he has no dog in him.
Oh, and all these players are getting that money, and that's a big reason why.
Yeah.
But touching on in terms of the players today have more skills than players back then, that's 100% false. That's 100%. Today's NBA players do not have more. So just because you see a player do Euro steps, just because you see a player do a 2, 3, 4 step back jumper, that doesn't mean that they have more skill. It doesn't. Because when it comes down to the line, the last 5 minutes of the game, and that superstar player has it, and when it's more than 50% of the time, it's just going to be a 3-point shot, that's not more skill. That's not more skill. Back in the day, the shots were taken below the 3-point line.
Of course.
When it's below the 3-point line, you don't know where the shot's going to come from. It might come from there. It might come from here. It might come from... With 3-point line, you know where it's going to go. Anywhere behind the 3-point line, you know where it's going to come from. That's not skill. Yeah. That's taking a chance.
I would say this. I would say you're halfway right. I would say the old school players, skill-wise, was more fundamental based, right?
Absolutely, yeah, you're right.
These kids now, their fundamentals ain't as important. They don't care about the fundamentals. They care about the show, the flash. That's why you see all this, the step backs and stuff. Skill-wise, skill for skill, though, the skill is way more advanced than now. If they had the fundamentals of what they should have had from the old school, the game would have progressed. This is why Shea was able to get the MVP this year and dominate, because he does have fundamentals. His fundamental game is on point.
Okay, so I ask you this though: would you rather be would you rather be today's skilled player, or would you rather be yesterday's strong fundamental player?
It's a good question. It depends on what I'm looking for. Now, I don't think that today's skill players are going to be able to teach the future of basketball because of the way they're doing it.
With that response, you answered my question. With that response, you answered my question correctly. Thank you. That's all you need to say, Doc.
I'm just saying, you're right. But also this. The players that are coaching kids today did take the skill from the old school, and they're teaching wrong.
Yeah.
They're teaching them wrong. That's why you have the bigs out in threes, and all you see is pick and rolls, and they don't play. All you see is switches and pick and rolls. You don't see one-on-one basketball like somebody sticking like defense. Like the Indiana Pacers are the closest team to play real defense in a long time. This is why they're surprising a lot of people. This is why they're frustrating a lot of teams, because they're picking you up 94 feet the whole time. The whole time.
The Indiana Pacers are one of the few teams in basketball today, in the NBA today, that's actually playing basketball with traditional positions. Yeah. A point guard, a shooting guard, a center, a power forward, a small forward. They're probably the only team that's actually playing basketball.
Yeah, I agree. And that's why they're winning and surprising people. Because when it comes down to the clutch moments, when it comes down to the last second shots and stuff like that, they already know what they're going to do. When it comes to, like, if you're in a position where you're not playing fundamental basketball, your foundation isn't fundamentals, you start to second guess yourself. You start to question what's going to happen. You get nervous because you don't have an answer in your head. When you do have these answers, when you're playing fundamental basketball, when you're playing correctly, you just keep the same script. Nothing changes. Just because it's true. Just because it's the last second shot or the last 2 minutes, Nothing changes. You just keep it going. That's why they was able to come back on New York the other night, because they kept playing the same way. They just turned it up a little bit. New York got lax and just relaxed a little bit, but their skill level was still higher. They still were scoring tit for tat with them, but the energy levels were totally different.
You know what? Mentioning Indiana and going back and forth on Indiana just had a thought. I just had a thought in my mind. Your callers might disagree with me, but it's how I feel. I'm gonna fuck. My thought is my thought. I think Indiana today is a better version of Steve Nash's Phoenix Suns back in the day.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And I say this because offensively, that's how they played, but they did not have the defense. That's why they didn't lose. That's why Steve Nash got the MVP 2 years in a row, but they didn't win. They didn't get to where they wanted to go because they had no defense. If they had defense, they would have got a ring for sure.
For sure.
I feel this version is a better version of what they were trying to do. Not a better version of what they were trying to do, but that same version, but coupled in what they needed to do to win, to get the ring, which was defense.
Facts. I agree. Because Steve Nash wasn't locking shit up. He couldn't lock nothing up.
Exactly.
At all. And Halliburton is out here locking people up. What's his name? Heisman.
Neesmith.
Locking people up. What's the
That's
other?
their key. That's why they're winning. That's their dog. That's the big reason why they're winning. That's their key to their engine. Neesmith.
Yeah.
Without Neesmith, they're not doing this. That's their key. When he got hurt this year, they went down. But then when he came back after the All-Star break, they started killing shit again. That's their key to their engine. It's not Halliburton. Halliburton is a transitional player as well. I need to mention this. Transitional player. Half court, he's not that great. That's why he got eliminated last year in the playoffs. He got exposed. He's a transitional player. He needs motion. You give him 5 to 8 feet, that's what he wants. You play him up close 1 to 2, he doesn't want that. He doesn't have any moves. He's a smaller version of LeBron James to me.
Listen, okay, so you're expecting people to have the bop all the time or just to control the ball? Because the old school players didn't have bop like that. Only a few had bop. Tim Hardaway, Iverson, Chauncey Billups had a little bop, but he was more traditional. Steve Francis, Mobley, Katino Mobley.
No, but you have to understand. It's not about the bop. Like, it's about playing basketball. Because to me, I've always said since I've been watching ball for the past 30 plus years, I've always said that John Stockton for me is the best point guard of all time for me. Yeah. I know a lot of people disagree. That's fine, but he didn't have no bop.
No.
But in the half court, you have to be able to get your players in position and get yourself in position as well. And that doesn't always have to be with a 3-point line or a semi-transition or transition. Like, if you can't perform, or if you can't get different multiple ways for you to score in the half court, then and it's so obvious to see, I'm going to call it out. And that's how it was last year in Indiana in the playoffs when they got knocked out. In the half court, I forgot who they played, but they kept it half court, and Halliburton couldn't do anything.
True. But also Halliburton wasn't experienced like that either. He's more experienced this year.
I'll give you that.
He's more ready. And also, like John Stockton, he controlled the offense completely. But he had a dog and Karl Malone who was averaging 20 to 30 plus points every night. So he had an ultimate player to throw it to and know the pick and roll was unstoppable. Yeah,
but don't sip on John Stockton. His shooting percentage was off the roof. His free throw, field goal percentage was off the roof. The man could shoot the 3 and field goal was crazy. So he was no slouch himself.
That is true. And
he played defense.
I'm not taking nothing away from him. He was a complete point guard. That was a complete point guard. He didn't shoot first. He looked to facilitate, and then when his shot was available, he took it. And when his shot was available, he was open because his other players were already doing work. So they were worried about them more than him. So then when he started hitting, that's when, because if you do your job correctly as a point guard, you're going to be open a lot of the times because you're running the game so efficiently that your players are they're in motion, they're in their groove, and the defense sees that, so they're not worried about you as much. They're going to be trying to stop your players because they know that you're facilitating them, and they're the key to y'all winning. And once they leave you alone, your mid-range comes, your free throws come, your 3-point shot comes because you're already in the rhythm of the game. You just ain't really shot yet. You know what I mean?
You mind if I touch on New York a little bit? Touch on New York?
Yeah, go
Knicks.
right.
New York Knicks. Brunson. Look, I love New York. They have a special place in my heart. My history with them, I don't need to mention it here, but they just have a special place with me. But Brunson, that boy, if that boy wants to continue and pounding the rock and not fucking passing the ball, if you want to come down with 24 seconds on the shot clock and pass the ball when there's 7 to 8 seconds on the shot clock to your player, bro, that's not the time to get into your offense. He does it all the time. You can't play playoff basketball with one. That's why Chris Paul don't got a ring.
I don't even
This
think
is
Chris
why
Paul
Chris
that good.
Paul don't got a ring, because he did the same thing, pounding the ball. Pass the shit, B.
Yeah.
Let niggas run.
You're right. See,
That's all I want to say on him. He's just pissing me off, B.
the thing about that is, it's in his contract, right? That's the problem with the NBA. They write what you have to do in your contract, and you have to abide by it. You have to shoot him this amount of times. You have to try to score this amount of times. You have to have the ball this amount of times at the end of the game to fulfill your contract. They tell these people that. You know that. Like, this is not real basketball. Real basketball allows whoever's hot to be hot. Real basketball allows whoever's going to be the starters to be the star that night. It doesn't matter whose name it is. Is you're hot, we're going through you because you're in the game. You know what I'm saying? They sign contracts and say you're supposed to shoot 25 times a night, no matter what. You're supposed to get as such and such rebounds, no matter what. You're supposed to get such and such assists, no matter what. And other people know this, so they play to it. Brunson, I'm sure, as he's the face of New York, he has to take these shots. He has to be the one to try to force the issue most of the time because market-wise, they want him to be the star. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I agree, and I can see that. And if that is the case, then New York ain't getting out of the Eastern Conference Finals this year, if that's the case, because that's not how Indiana plays at all.
No.
Indiana plays how basketball should be played. Whoever is hot is hot. Neesmith hit 5 or 6 threes at the end of last night's game to win the thing. Like, who else is doing that on New York at this time with Brunson holding the ball?
Nobody.
Like, motherfucker, last night, I just needed Hart 2 more points to get a motherfucking parlay, $200 ticket. And this nigga couldn't even fucking get it. OT? You couldn't get an OT? My nigga. Come on, bro.
I feel you, bro. I feel you can't trust these parlays, bro. They know the scheme. They know the game. They be holding out.
Exactly.
They be holding
Bro,
out. I think
I'm
they
seeing
all
this
in
nigga-
cahoots.
Of course, bro. You trying to say I seen Hart average like 14, 15 points in 4 games straight, and this nigga, you give me 8 points? Really? Come on, dog.
Right. It's impossible. Every hooper knows that you can turn it off and turn it on. And you can tell when you turn it off. You know? You can tell. Because when you turn it on, it's a completely different game. Completely different game. Every time. That's why the boy from Denver, what's his name?
Murray.
No, not Murray. The other one that shoots. That his brother got in trouble.
Porter. Michael Porter.
He's under investigation now too. Because
What? For doing what? For the same shit?
for the same, yeah.
Oh, fuck. That's crazy. That makes sense because his numbers are crazy. Like, how the hell you go from like 17 to like 5?
Exactly. He doing the same exact thing his brother was. And I think the
Wow.
fact, I think that he's doing it because he's probably they probably owe some money. You know what I mean? His brother got caught.
Probably.
So, but if you watch it, you can tell who's throwing the game or not. Every real hooper knows who's throwing the game because I can tell by watching how you're playing. If you're playing tentative, but the last game you wasn't playing tentative, nothing changed. The same person is holding you. Nothing changed. If he couldn't hold you the first game, he can't hold you the second game. He didn't get that much
100%
better.
agree.
You know what I mean?
Look at Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray, the year that they went to the Olympics to represent Canada for the first time, he played like trash. He was barely doing anything. And then lo and behold, find out that was his summer, that was his contract year. Right after the Olympics, he just signed like a $295 million contract or some shit. Like, look at that.
Yeah.
He was going to get money. That's why he didn't do shit. And ever
Yeah.
since he signed that shit, he hasn't done nothing.
Nah.
Ever since Bubble Murray, ever since he gave us that shit in the bubble, nothing. That's average shit.
Hey, that's the difference between real hoopers and people who just doing it to get the pay, get money. That's it. Because a real hooper is not going to be manipulated by the money, but the contract that you have to sign to get the money is going to change your output on how you hoop. That's why I think a lot of people get hurt too. Because if you think about it, growing up, you don't really get hurt like that because you're playing for the love. You know, there's nothing really enticing you to play. You're doing it straight out of love, straight out of motivation. Once you start getting enticed and your mind is on other things, that's when things start to happen. That's when you start to see people messing up their ankles, their knees, their hips, their back, because they're not playing for the love anymore. They're playing just for the money. And when you're playing for the money, it's not pure no more. You lose it every time.
Yeah, you're half and half on that. You're half and half on that. And the reason why I say that is because myself, I've never played basketball for money. I always played it for the straight love. But yet I've had a total of 5 surgeries on my body because of the love of basketball. And I'm okay with that. But I get your point, though. I get your point. But at the end of the day, once you get the money, the drive ain't there no more. And it clearly shows on the basketball court and on the screen.
Clearly.
But sure, that's all I want to say. I do the night shift. I gotta go for work right now.
No, you're good. I appreciate you calling in, and I'm gonna clip it up and I'm gonna post you. All right.
Oh, for sure. Thanks for the love, Doc.
All good, bro. Appreciate you calling in.
Yeah, peace, yo.
Yep. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our time for today. That is all I'm saying. I am your boy Max Dollars. This was another episode of That's All I'm Saying. I appreciate y'all tuning in. We're gonna go out with the Honey Man. And we'll see you next time.
You know you want me, baby.